Hello and welcome back to another episode of this week's watches, and this week, just like every week, we have 10 incredible watches for you guys and girls, varying from a couple of vintage pieces to a neo-vintage record chronograph to some Seikos, Christopher Ward, Speedy, Cartier, and something really cool from Aquadive as well. So there's definitely something for everyone at all kinds of price ranges in this drop. And as always, if you want to skip all the rambling and get to a specific piece, down in the description there is each watch listed with a timestamp that will take you to me talking about that exact watch and showing you, and also a link to the website where you can see more photos, details. Under points of mention, there's always additional photos as well now, so make sure you check those out. Also want to say a big thank you because the past couple of weeks have been incredible. So far, the day I'm recording this is the 13th of September. Already this has been one of the most successful Septembers I've had. August was surprisingly good considering August is always a quieter month. So thank you all very much. It's been really, really great, and I do have a lot of watches coming soon. So the next 2 drops are pretty much done and ready to go. So if you want to get a heads up of what that is, on our Instagram at Kibble Watches, you will see a coming soon highlights reel. Click through that, you'll see all the watches that are not yet on the website, and you can beat the website, as in beat this moment, by getting in there early. All the prices are on there, details, and I can send you more photos if you would like as well. Yes, so before we get on to what's on the table, I am actually wearing a moon swatch. This is Jupiter, and I've got it on one of the fitted Horus straps. Very, very nice. It looks great on this strap, and it's actually really, really comfortable. A fun little watch, obviously in sort of inspiration with the new Blancpain swatch collaboration. I'm not mad about it. There's 2 I quite like that hopefully I will pick up at some point. I'm definitely not going to be paying more than retail, as I haven't with my moon swatches myself, and I'll be picking them up at some point. I just think they're good fun. But yeah, yes, this isn't a review about the moon swatch. This is the drop video, which you're here to see. So we're going to start with a classic. This is the latest Omega Speedmaster. This is the Hesselite on the new bracelet with the coaxial movement. So let's take a closer look at this one. So beginning this week's episode with the Omega Speedmaster Professional Hesselite, and this is the latest reference. I won't bore you with the reference number because, as always with Omega and Swatch Group in general, they are incredibly long, but you can head over to the website to see that full reference. But the main thing you need to know with this new reference is it features the new manually wound Omega caliber 3861, which is a coaxial movement finally, which is the first time they've done this in the professional line of the standard one. It also features the new highly tapering bracelet, very reminiscent of the older models with the upgraded clasp. Really beautifully done. For the longest time I was more of a fan of the older bracelet, but to be honest, this has definitely grown on me and I actually prefer it now on wrist. This specific model is from January 2023. And as you'd expect, it comes with its full box and paperwork and its guarantee cards and etc, and all of its spare links. The condition is fantastic. It's been worn, but it's been very well looked after, to be honest. It seems to have been hardly worn during that time, to be honest, so you can't really go wrong. On the case back, some of the black does seem to have faded out of the printing. I've seen this a few times with this new model. I think with some of the earlier ones, the printing wasn't as dense. I could be wrong on that, but it's one of those things. Once off to Omega, they can always refill it if you ever chose to do that. To be honest, it doesn't really affect the wearability to me, and again, at the price point, it's a no-brainer compared to retail as well. But anyway, so Speedmaster relatively unchanged since the early days, and you can all see why. It's one of those designs that's just stood the test of time. It's been absolutely beautiful since day dot, and they've just done such a great job at keeping it the same. And this model is a testament to that. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. This is the 42mm case as you'd expect by 47mm lug to lug, 14mm thick, and some of that thickness is in the heavily domed acrylic crystal, so keep that in mind, and 20mm on the lug, so endless options for swapping this out. The 42 wears perfectly. A lot of people think it's going to be too big because just when you think of numbers, you hear 42, it does sound large, but I have to be honest, it wears incredibly well, as you can see on my wrist. So go check this one out on the website. From there to a watch I know I get asked about all the time, and that is my personal Rolex 6694. This isn't my personal 6694, however this is one from 1966. It's also on its rivet bracelet. It also has its original dial on hands. It's very, very similar, and I think someone is going to be incredibly happy with this one. So let's take a closer look. Now onto a Rolex Oysterdate Precision. As you can see right here, this is a really lovely example of reference 6694. I personally own a reference 6694, and it's one of the watches I probably wear the most and I find the most comfortable. At 34mm, it is incredible on wrist, and we'll get to that when we show you the wrist in a second. What you're looking at is its original silver dial, which has developed a subtle patina going a little bit champagne in colour. It's very, very subtle, but it's really beautiful. Original tritium around the outside of the dagger markers, and original tritium hands, which are aged beautifully, as you can see. Nice case. Obviously it's seen a polish wheel over the years, but nothing major. We can always have it repolished for you if you wish, but I wouldn't recommend it personally. It's not necessary. Screw down crown at 3, and where this watch again becomes more impressive is on its original rivet Rolex bracelet with a slightly later clasp. This is quite common because the older clasps, they weren't particularly that great, so these often get swapped out. To be honest, you don't see these rivet bracelet options often, sorry, not options. You don't see these rivet bracelet often because again they are literally folded pieces of metal, so the construction is quite poor in contrast to modern day bracelets, but again it's one of those nice things to have. You can totally wear it on it, but just be warned, it is a little bit more delicate than a slightly later bracelet, and later bracelets can be had with the 19mm ends, and you can wear it on that as well, so we can always source you one of those if you'd prefer. The serial dates this one to 1966, and it doesn't come with any box or paperwork, and inside is a manually wound Rolex caliber 1215, a very robust and reliable movement that they used for a fair while. And as I said, yes, manually wound. That's what Oyster Precision or precision means rather than perpetual. So hopefully that gives you a little insight there. But let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. Okay, and here we go, paired on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, a really beautiful size. The bracelet is quite large. I'd probably want one link taken out and moving up the clasp, maybe even more, to be honest. So yeah, it's nice to have a larger rivet bracelet, because again, to take the links out, it's not super simple. The bracelet has to be opened up and then folded back together again. So when that usually happens, the links are sort of gone forever at that point. But yeah, so what you're looking at here is 34mm by 41.5mm lug to lug, 11.5mm thick, and 19mm on the lug. So there's some great options with Watch Gecko. I would highly recommend for leather straps if you do want to swap it out, and you've got push pins, making it super easy to do so. So go check it out on the website today. Now onto a Cartier Tank Solo XL automatic on the Cartier bracelet, a combination you either really like or you don't, but the great thing is the bracelet can come off and you can put it on a leather strap, so you've got the best of both worlds in this scenario. So let's take a closer look. Now onto the Cartier Tank Solo XL. This is one of the largest sizes you can get in the Cartier Tank, and it is the automatic, which means you've got a second hand and a date, as you can see right there. Now the reference to this one is the W52 00028 or the 3515, and this one's from circa late 2010s. I would probably say somewhere between 2016 and 2018. It does come with box and booklets, no original paperwork unfortunately, and inside behind this screw down case back is an automatic Cartier caliber 049. So yeah, this is 31mm by 40.5mm, which compared to traditional tanks, which are more like 23mm by obviously a lot smaller, about 34, 35. This is definitely up there in size, but again, it wears incredibly well because whilst being rectangular, without that round shape, it doesn't take up a huge part of the wrist. As I mentioned in the intro, this does come on its original Cartier bracelet with its spare links. Not everyone is a big fan of the Cartier Tank on the bracelet, but to be honest, this gives you the best of both options, right? If you do want to wear it on the bracelet, you have the bracelet, and it's easy enough to change it onto a leather strap. So both options technically are there if you so wish. Original cabochon, as you can see on the crown, which is really nice down there. And again, the nice thing about the automatic is you have the 3 hands and the dates. You don't get that in the quartz model, which is just a 2-hander. Again, some people prefer that, but the choice comes down to you. And I have to say, with the bigger size, the thickness that's added because of the automatic movement, it helps with the overall wearability of it. I think if it was this big and super thin like the quartz, it would be a bit odd on wrist, but that thickness actually helps. And to be honest, it's really not thick at all. 7.5mm, so that's still incredibly thin for an automatic. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And there we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, it wears incredibly well. It's not too big at all. Do I prefer a traditional smaller tank? Absolutely, I do personally, but I can see the appeal of these larger ones, and I can see the appeal of the bracelet as well. Now, I forgot to mention, and maybe it goes without saying at this point, but we can have this refinished, so the polished and the brush put back on it. If you so desire, just let us know. It will come with an additional charge and time frame to delivery, but we can get it done for you. So this is 31mm by 40.5mm lug to lug, 7.5mm thick, so it wears incredibly thin on the wrist, as you can see, and you're looking at 23mm on the lugs. Again, there are options out there from WatchGecko and other manufacturers as well that I would recommend for strap pairings if you want to swap this out. But go check this one out on the website today. From there, let's go over to this really cool and funky Aquadive. This is the Aquadive 100 Poseidon GMT Yellow Limited Edition, a big mouthful, and a really cool watch. Under £1,000, you cannot go wrong. So let's take a closer look at this one. And here we go. Now we have the Aquadive 100 Poseidon GMT Limited Edition Yellow, and this is limited to 300 pieces total. You have the yellow inner ring with the yellow GMT hand and the Poseidon symbol proudly on the dial right there. And the nice thing about this one is from February 2020 with its box and paperwork, and also its Poseidon badge as well that you could have sewn onto a jacket or whatever you so wish. Nice loomed rotating bezel, nice signed screw down crown, and as we flip it over you can see a nice screw down case back, and inside here is an automatic ETA 2893-2, so a nice reliable workhorse movement. Just compared on its original rubber strap with its buckle, something to keep in mind, this rubber strap has slightly discolored. I don't know how well the video or photos pick it up on the website, but there is slight discoloration from where it's been worn. It's unfortunately one of those things. It does happen with bright coloured rubber straps. They sort of discolour as you wear them. Again, something just to keep in mind, maybe be expected of. And again, the thickness is quite large on this one, but it sort of goes with the overall design, right? Like, this is a big dive watch with huge dive watch heritage and history. They weren't small watches. They were never intended to be small watches, as they were tool watches, and this is very much in that field and in that line. So let's show it on wrist and toward dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. So as I say, a big watch, but it still wears relatively well thanks to this sort of cushion C case design. You know, it's not just perfectly round and it takes up a huge part of the wrist. You've got this case design which I think wears the sort of overall size very well. So this is 43mm by 50mm lug to lug, 14mm thick and 22mm on the lug. So endless options. You can find aftermarket yellow straps that would match this quite well, but to be honest, this wouldn't bother me that much. To be honest, it's very subtle and it's very faint. So go check it out on the website today. Now onto a 90s record Deluxe Chronograph 38mm with the Value 7765 inside. A very nice attractive watch, again well under £1,000. You're getting yourself a neo vintage manually wound chronograph with a very unusual design, I think, with the chronograph layout. So let's take a closer look. Now on something a bit different and something you really don't see often. What you're looking at right here is a beautiful record Deluxe chronograph from circa 1990s or thereabouts. The reference is 1303, and what makes this one quite special is inside is a manually wound Value 7765, which explains the slightly peculiar dial layout, as you can see, for a chronograph. So you have your continuous running seconds over here and a 30-minute totalizer at 12 o'clock with the dates that you can quick set, which is very handy, at 3 o'clock. Very simple black dial with gold accents, a nice fixed bezel with, again, gold accents in there. The crystal has got some scratches. It's something we could probably get replaced for you, as I believe it's just mineral. So let us know if that's something you'd like us to get done. Obviously it will come at an extra cost and time frame to delivery, but it is something we can have done for you. Nice pump pushers, very simple in design, and a screwed down case back, all stainless steel. And again, where this one gets quite interesting is the size at 38mm. This isn't a particularly small chronograph, it's not large either, but again, it's that nice midpoint for some people, myself included, that don't like too crazy big or sometimes too tiny. I mean, I do enjoy small watch, so for me I'd be comfortable wearing that, but again, this is a really good size on the wrist. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And there we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, really nice proportions, nice size. I've got it paired on a WatchGecko strap, which I think suits it nicely with brown and gold accents. So case size 38mm by 45mm lug to lug, 11mm thick and 19mm on the lugs. Again, WatchGeckos who I'd recommend. Some great strap pairing options at not a huge cost, and I think would look great on this. But then again, this pairing works perfectly well. So go check this one out on the website today. Now on to Christopher Ward. We're going to start with the C65 Sandhurst Series 1 chronometer, COSC rated. Really great watch. I've had a few of these over the years. They've done different generations. This is the Series 1. I really like it. Super comfortable on wrist. Let's take a closer look. Now on to the Christopher Ward C65 Sandhurst Series 1, as you can see right here. The design is fantastic. They've absolutely nailed this, and it's proudly based on the early W10 British military watches, as you can see. Written right there on the case about British Army W10. Very nicely done, beautifully designed and inspired perfectly, as you can see. I won't bore you with the reference, incredibly long reference, you can go see that on the website, but importantly in the case is an automatic Sellita SW200 chronometer spec with its chronometer certificate. This one's from January 2022 with its box and paperwork and all spare links. And talking about links, it comes on its original bracelet, which does feature this very handy adjustment system with a lever that you pull and slide out as so. So you've got quick adjust on the bracelet, especially this kind of price point is incredible. You have a signed crown right here with a red inner ring. Again, beautifully done, and the case proportion and finishing is as great as you'd always expect from Christopher Ward. If you've not had a chance to experience a Christopher Ward, I'd highly recommend it. They are built fantastically for the price point, and there's nothing really that rivals it, in my opinion, at that kind of price point. So let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, comfortably on my 7-inch wrist. What a good looking watch. So this is 38mm by 43.5mm lug to lug, 11.5mm thick and 20mm on the lugs. This is a quick release bracelet as well, so strap changing is nice and easy, and Christopher Ward offer lots of straps on their website, well worth checking out. So go check this one out on our website today. Now on to the C63 Sealander GMT with the white and the fixed bezel. A great looking watch. This one's on the leather strap, so a bit more affordable than the bracelet counterpart, but you can still buy a bracelet, so don't worry if you want the bracelet version and this works out cheaper for you. Snap this up, buy yourself the bracelet. But let's take a closer look. Now on to the C63 GMT. I apologise if you can hear an alarm in the background. It's a building across from us, but I don't have time to wait for it to stop, so I've just got to crack on. My apologies if it's too bad. If it is, I'll look at trying to redo these clips. But anyway, I won't bore you with the reference. You can go see it on the website. This features an automatic Sellita SW330-2 behind an exhibition case back with a nice custom rotor by Christopher Ward. As you can see, beautifully done, and Christopher Ward use Sellita pretty much exclusively. They're very good movements, very reliable, same as ETA basically, so there's no real difference between the two in terms of reliability that I've found over the years anyway. This one's from December 2022, does come with its box and paperwork, and it comes paired on its original nice dark brown Christopher Ward leather strap, and you can still get the bracelet on Christopher Ward's website if you so desire, and also a plethora of different leather straps which are all fantastic and quick release. As you can see, really nice clean white dial, very legible, nice GMT hand right there, obviously inspired by the Rolex Explorer 2, as you can see, with the fitted 24-hour bezel in stainless steel. You have a screw down crown at 3 o'clock, nice and signed, and beautiful chamfers around the case. As always with Christopher Ward, the finishing is exquisite for the price, and as I said with the last one, I don't really know what rivals them at this price point with finishing, execution, and just overall reliability. I think they're amazing. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, comfortably on my 7-inch wrist. I believe I said, but this is December 2022 with its box and paperwork. Nice strap. I really like this sort of soft leather nubuck, whatever it is. It's almost suede-like. It's very nice. 39mm by 45.5mm lug to lug, 12mm on the thickness, so very nice and thin to be honest for the design, and 20mm on the lugs. So go check this one out on the website today. Now on to a Seiko Alpinist Ginza. I haven't had one of these in a little while. It's the 140th anniversary. I call it the Seiko Blue Spider-Man because of the dial. It just reminds me of Spider-Man. Really great watch, big collecting community around it, and again priced very, very well, especially when you look at some of the others out there. So let's take a closer look. Now on to the Seiko Spider-Man, or as it's really called, the Ginza 140th anniversary, with this beautiful blue patterned dial, which is absolutely fantastic. Nice baby blue second-hand, date over at 3 o'clock. Overall, really beautiful indices as well, as you can see, especially the 12. I absolutely love that. Nicely done overall. This is the SBB 259J1, and as we flip it over, there is an exhibition case back, right there, which still has a sticker on it, by the way. If you're looking at the photos, that's what that is. And that is the automatic Seiko caliber 6R35, a very reliable movement that Seiko have used for many years. This has actually a screw down crown, which is very nice, adding to some extra water resistancy. And this one's from circa 2021 with its box and paperwork. So it comes on its original bracelet with all of its links included. As I've said, this bracelet, or as I've said in the past, this bracelet is probably one of the best in the Seiko lineup, or more recently anyway, especially 2021 when it came out. This was the best that they had done in a long time, because it's almost a running joke with Seiko that their bracelets are typically terrible, whereas this one, pretty damn good, really nicely finished and built very well. But yeah, not an awful lot to say about this one. I've had quite a few of them over the years. They've always been popular. They sold out pretty much immediately from release, and they've been popular ever since. So let's show it on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Very, very comfortable in proportions at 38.5mm by 46mm lug to lug, 12.5mm thick and 19mm on the lugs. Again, watch gecko if you do want to pair it on some straps. FKM rubber as well would look fantastic on this one, but to be honest, the bracelet I think works on it very, very well. So go check this one out on the website today. Now on to a Seiko Glacier Save the Earth 1965 reinterpretation, specifically the SPB 297J1. This is my favorite of the reinterpretations that SPB references with this style. I absolutely love this one, so let's take a closer look. And here we go. As I said in the intro to this one, this is one of my favorite SPB models they have done yet, and it's actually one I owned personally for some time as well. This is the SPB 297J1, the Save the Ocean special edition, with that beautiful textured dial, which is like the ocean with the matte black bezel. I think this combination, perfect. I think this should just be a core run that they do 24/7 at the normal price as well. As we flip it over, you're presented with a nicely decorated solid case back, stating the special edition nature on it right there. Inside is an automatic Seiko caliber 6R35, and this one's from July 2023 with its box and paperwork and original receipt as well, so you've got all of that with it. Screw down crown, nice solid bracelet. The SPB's bracelets are fantastic. You have a dive extension hidden away here, and you have micro adjust on the clasp to get the perfect fit. All links are included, as you'd expect, and let's show this one on wrist and taut dimensions. And there we go, comfortably on my 7-inch wrist. It just works so well and looks so good. This is 40.5mm by 47.5mm lug to lug, 13mm thick and 20mm on the lugs with drilled lug holes to make strap changing nice and easy. So go check this one out on the website today. And last but by no means least, it's the Baby Marine Master, as it's often referred to. This is the SPB 077J1, a big watch, but it wears incredibly well, and again the finishing is just immaculate. It's incredible. So let's take a closer look. Now on to the Baby Marine Master, as it's nicknamed. I have to be honest, I prefer how this wears to the Marine Masters. The Marine Masters are fantastic watches, but they do wear quite large on the wrist, whereas this is quite thin in comparison. Yes, it's a big watch, but when you see it actually on my wrist, it doesn't look out of proportion at all. Really nice simple matte black dial, nice round indices, nice bold hands, glossy ceramic bezel, and a very interesting finish to the bracelet and the case, which almost makes it look titanium. Really nicely done and very attractive. This is the SPB 077J1, and inside behind that case back, as we flip it open and show you, it's a plain simple case back as you'd expect, is a Seiko automatic caliber 6R15, a very reliable movement that Seiko have used for years. This one's from January 2023, and it does come with its box and card. No paperwork, unfortunately, but the original card is there, all signed. Screw down crown here at 4 o'clock, and all spare links are included. Let's show this one on wrist and taut dimensions. And this is where this watch becomes an instant standout for me personally. The proportions on wrist, whilst a large watch, it wears perfectly. It doesn't wear like an oversized watch at all. So what you're looking at is 43.5mm by 49.5mm lug to lug, 12.5mm thick, and 20mm on the lugs with drilled lug holes to make strap changing nice and easy, but I'd be wearing it on this bracelet personally. So go check this one out on the website today. So there you have it, guys and girls, 10 incredible watches. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode. I apologize if maybe the episode seemed a bit rushed at some places. I just had to get through this quite quickly, a busy week, and I've got to get back home. to get a few things done. As a lot of you know, now at Kibble Watches, it is pretty much just me. So in terms of getting the watches in, inspecting, photographing, listing, everything, I do it all, shipping, you know, every single aspect is pretty much at the hands of myself. My father helps with some of the write-ups that you see on the website. He does the main parts. I do the personal notes, obviously, and my wife helps out with admin here and there when she can. But yeah, it's a sort of fun way of doing it. It's definitely difficult, it's a lot of work, but I love it, and I like the fact that you as a buyer, when you get your watch, you know I have had an impact at every stage, right? I chose that watch, I bought it in, I inspected it, I put it on the website, I did the write-up, I shipped it out to you, and I packaged it up for you. So every point, you know I've dealt with it, which also makes it a lot easier. So hopefully you guys and girls have appreciated this, and we'll see you all again next week for another incredible drop. There's going to be something in there for everyone if a few things haven't sold by the time that episode goes up. But yeah, definitely some great stuff. So we'll see you all then. Take care. Bye-bye.